Welcome back everyone, and you probably guessed it, to another One Piece theory. This one's gonna be a very short one. I've been thinking a lot about this scenario and I really wanted to talk about it. It's basically gonna be a theory about Straw Hat Luffy's magical straw hat. Because we all know there's two straw hats, right? The one that's frozen down in Marijoa and the one that Luffy has. Possibly being the same thing. You're definitely gonna want to stick to the end to hear the bonus thought or question that I have at the end. So basically this theory is about the two straw hats, right? The original relic versus the one we have right now. So the giant straw hat hidden at Marijoa is obviously the original straw hat, the giant one frozen. And we definitely think it was worn by Joy Boy himself. That's obvious, right? Because it kind of fits, right? It seems very old, it's massive, and it's frozen, hidden away. So it's basically ancient at this point. It's also not meant to be worn by a regular sized human. Potentially a giant, or in this case, an ancient weapon. We've seen Poseidon and how big they can get, so that's a potential. But we really believe it was worn by Joy Boy himself. Let's be real, that's the obvious conclusion here. And I don't personally think it was cloned on a technological sense. It's just the exact original tied to a legendary figure, Joy Boy. But then here comes my other question. How come Goldie Roger had it when he started his adventure, and who did he get it from? We still don't know that part. And now Monkey D. Luffy wears that same hat that he got through Shanks. So I'm thinking Roger's hat was a replica that was handmade, hand created, potentially from the people back in that days, 900 years ago, since they knew Joy Boy lost and he always had that straw hat with him. They probably wanted to recreate a replica, for that symbolic purpose. And it would make sense that Gold Roger would ultimately inherit the hat some way or how, or you know what I'm trying to say here. Because Goldie Roger was deeply connected to the Void Century. He knew everything. He was basically on the path of Joy Boy himself. But the only thing is, he wasn't completely there. He wasn't the right one. He couldn't fulfill the promise of Fishman Island. He couldn't have done what the One Piece probably is, Laugh Tale. That's why he was laughing, because he was just too early. But just because he was too early, just like Joy Boy himself, doesn't take that he was less chosen than Luffy or Joy Boy. He was on that line. He had the will of D. So of course, the hat that he was wearing that he passed on to Shanks and ultimately came to Luffy probably was handmade replica by the people of back in that time to represent Joy Boy, to represent the will of D. And in this case, it's just symbolic because it's just representing Joy Boy and his will and the will of D, which happened to come across Roger. Shanks is not a D, but he still possessed the straw hat at some point, which makes him still important to this story. But ultimately, it ended up to Luffy. So it had to go through Shanks to get to Luffy. That's why Shanks is so important. So basically what I think it is, just like 900 years ago with Joy Boy, currently right now, the straw hat basically represents a crown. Crown of the chosen one, which makes a lot of sense. Every generation had one, up to Luffy up to this point. So basically, it's a crown for the rightful king, the rightful ruler of the world. The ancient one, unfortunately, is sealed away. It's like a lost artifact. But the new one, the recreated one, is out there in the world, active and growing and causing chaos, because Luffy's doing just that. And it just makes sense that now there's two hats in the story, because one represents the past, which is frozen in time, it's in the past, and one represents the future, carried by someone destined to bring a world-changing dawn. So my question is, why didn't the world government just destroy the original artifact, right? The original relic? I have two things I can think of. Maybe they can't. Maybe it's indestructible somehow. We've seen how Joy Boy can put hockey into things, so maybe it's just that they can't destroy it. Or it might be tied to some ancient curse or prophecy that the celestial dragons and Emo is scared of, basically. So the best thing to do was, yeah, freeze it. And of course, in this case, keeping it hidden and frozen suppresses the hat's, aura, the hat's will, Joy Boy's will. Keeps it suppressed and locked away. So to conclude, yeah, there's no cloning here or anything. Joy Boy's original hat, that's the original relic. The one Luffy currently has right now is just a symbolic one passed down through the generations, but it's the remaining of a legacy. It's pure history and legacy, and it's passed down to ultimately reach the one who's destined to finish the job that Joy Boy started. The chosen one, actually, at this point. So here's a bonus question or a bonus thought that I stated at the beginning of this video. What do you guys think will actually happen if Luffy actually gets face to face with the original Straw Hat, and by doing so it actually starts to thaw and shrink in size to fit Luffy's body and size? That moment could actually represent the return of Joy Boy's will in full, completely through Luffy. If you made it to this part of the video, please leave a like, comment your thoughts down below on what you thought about this theory. And of course, if you enjoyed this theory, please consider subscribing as well. I'm gonna leave a link up here about my last theory so you can take a look at that as well. Thank you so much for watching.